Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jillian. I go by Beauty-Brarian, and today I am going to be combining my beauty and Brarian aspects by doing my makeup and talking about my recent reads. So it's been a minute since I've talked about anything bookish, it feels like, and I thought it would be fun to talk about my reads from August and the first part of September. So I wrote them down so I did not forget. And I also did a little shop my stash moment. So I tried to use products that I haven't used in a minute. So such as the Dior highlighter palette, Dior Backstage Glow Face palette. One of my favorites, and for whatever reason, because it's in a drawer, not readily accessible, I've not been using it. Cover FX Warm Honey, which, to be fair, I use this all the time. It's one of my favorite blushes, but for the palette that I pulled, I thought it would be the best one for it. I pulled the Off Melrose palette from ColourPop, and I was feeling these like warm, kind of, you know, little coppery, kind of fall, but basic neutral. I do have to go into work today, and while I want to look nice, I just didn't want to have to do like a whole lot. So we'll see. I always say that and then end up doing the most. And then I pulled my Hourglass foundation stick because it's been a minute since I used that. Other than that, all the other products are kind of same that I always use. I'm trying to finish up my No Problem primer. I've got my e.l.f. putty bronzer, and then the only bronzing palette I have, and yeah, mascara, all that will be relatively the same. So let's jump into it and get ready to go to work on a Sunday. As this is the outreach life, you know, non-traditional times. Lots of evenings this semester, lots of weekends this semester, more so than last year. And that's okay. That's called job security. We like it. We love it. So, I'm going to start with the No Problem primer. And the first book, I'm going to start from reverse, so the last book, the farthest book away, beginning of August, I read, I listened to Counterfeit by Kristen Chen. I actually listened to it in almost a whole day. I remember it was, did I really listen to it in a day? I feel like I was doing something. I was definitely cleaning, I know that. I was cleaning, and I think I was just doing like Nintendo Switch cozy gaming, and I went for a walk, and it was a rather short book that I listened to fast. So I think I read it in a whole day. It was good. I did like it. I gave it 3.75 stars out of 5. And I just kind of like, I liked the story. I liked how it was told. I think maybe I didn't really like the reader or the narrator who actually read the book, not of the story. And there were some things that I just wish were explained more or like went into more detail with. So I think that's why I didn't give it a higher score, but it was a book about this woman who is kind of unhappy in her marriage and unhappy with her life, meets up with an old friend who turns out to be in the counterfeit bag game. Really good counterfeit. It turns into this whole thing where she gets kind of into it, starts making lots of money, and kind of like the demise and unwinding of it all, but then like there's some twists and turns that you take along the way. So it was a very fast read, I will say that. It kept me intrigued, it kept me in it, and like I said, I listened to it basically in a whole day. So it doesn't get much better than that, especially if you need something kind of, well, this is the NARS Pot Concealer because I had a little bit of a breakout. And I don't know how to keep my hands off my face when I break out, so try to pull a little spackle on that, you know. But then once I start, I can't stop. My face looks fine until I start to conceal, and then my whole face just looks red. I think it's probably just in my head, but nonetheless. But yeah, it was a quick read, palate cleanser sort of book. Not included in my list, but the book that I had read right before that was My Last Innocent Year by, I don't remember, but I'll put a picture up my lap, probably right here where my hand is, because that's where the most space is. My Last Innocent Year. Very, very good book, but kind of heavy. And so Counterfeit, I think, was like a really good palate cleanser for that. I appreciated it for that in and of itself. Just kind of reset my brain, something a little bit lighter. So yeah, Counterfeit by Kristen Chin. And then I didn't write the author's names down for this, but then I read Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. And this was recommended to me by the Caroline Edit on Instagram and TikTok. She said it was a mix between The White Lotus, and what else? And like Real Housewives or something like that. And I was like, sign me all the way up. And I read this at fish camp, working. But when I go to fish camp, I'm support staff, so I'm there as just assistants and making sure nobody needs anything and driving people to the infirmary or whatever. So I had a lot of downtime. So I read it on my Kindle, sorry. So I read it on my phone and kind of couldn't put it down. It was a lot of people, and sometimes I had a hard time keeping track of who was who and who was married to who and whose kids were who. But it didn't really deter from it. And it was a story of kind of, it went like forward and backwards. Someone died and we had to figure out who and why and what do they know. And it was set in not the Hamptons, but in like New York somewhere where people go for vacation for their summer homes and stuff like that. Just rich people doing bad things, basically. And it was really good. I did like it. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. So maybe it wasn't great, but I thought it was a good, fun, like beach read. Definitely, I would say it was pretty fast paced, mostly because I did read it pretty quick and I had a hard time putting it down. So, I mean, it was good. Oh my gosh, I haven't used that foundation stick in a while. I feel like that looks so nice. And I had the e.l.f. Halo Glow underneath. I don't think I said that. But I just recently downloaded another one of Emma Rosenblum's books off Kindle Unlimited. I think the Bad Summer People was also on Kindle Unlimited. So there's that, if you already pay for it. So she has another one out. And because I liked the Bad Summer People so much, I was like, I'll give that one a try. I cannot remember what it was called, though, unfortunately. Going in with the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. If I can find my little brush. So both of those were pretty quick reads, and I like them. Fun fact, and spoiler alert, I've not read a 5-star read since, when was it? I literally wrote it down. I don't remember where I wrote it, but like it's been many months. I want to say like April, maybe March, since I read or rated a book 5 stars. So I'm like lacking in like a 5-star read. So if you have any that you think were 5 stars, I read just about anything, send it my way, because I'm ready to be like, yes. Although I am reading a book right now that I do think will be a 5-star read, but we'll get there. So after Bad Summer People, I read Days at the Murasaki Bookshop, and I listened to this on audiobook. Fun fact about me, I love like translated books, especially Japanese ones. Like Haruki Murakami is one of my most favorite authors. Who's the one that wrote Never Let Me Go? Kazuko Ishiguro? Who is it? Yeah, Kazuo Ishiguro. Love all of their books. So, Days at Murasaki Bookshop was written by, golly, I didn't write any of these down. Satoshi Yagisawa. and it was about a girl who finds out that she's the other woman. It really affects her, and she ends up quitting her job, leaving her job, and kind of reconnecting with an estranged uncle that she had. And he owns a bookshop in like a used bookshop area in Japan. I can't remember where, but like their big thing in that area was used books. The place in general sounded amazing. Sign me all the way up. I would love to go visit this place. And every bookstore was a used bookstore that specialized in like a certain type of book. So it was like, if you need academic books or manga or whatever, just everything had its own shop. So it wasn't like you go into one of those stores and there would be a variety of books. It was all one type of book from various authors. So cool. And her uncle owned one. So she starts working there and basically just kind of recovering and finding herself again and reconnecting with family members and making new friends. And it was a beautiful story. It was so good. I was just enamored with it. And I do, again, remember this was a day that I was doing a lot of cozy gaming on my Switch. So I was just like playing like Stardew Valley or Cozy Grove, or actually I think I was doing Dreamlight Valley, to be honest. I was just kind of wandering around Dreamlight Valley, collecting things, selling things, not really playing the game. I wasn't, you know, finishing any quests, but just listening to this book while harvesting crops and stuff, you know. mindless gameplay while listening to this beautiful book. And even as beautiful as it was, and as much as I enjoyed it, I only gave it 4.75, almost a 5-star. And I think because at some point it did just kind of like meander, and I felt there were parts that moved slower than it should, and it could have, you know, we could have kicked out a couple of spots of that book and it wouldn't have changed the outcome. It would have helped the pacing. And as much as I appreciated the journey that the protagonist went on, every now and then I was like, I can completely empathize, sympathize, and be this girl. Like, I know exactly how she feels. And other times I kind of just wanted to be like, girl, get over it. You are literally an adult. Like, you are, I think, in your late 20s. you just gotta do it, you know? Sometimes, not all the time. So I think my lack of patience with some of that, I think, affected the rating. And I was just like, it was almost perfect. It was almost perfect if she was just like a little less whiny as an adult. Because she was like truly, if not her late 20s, in her 20s. And not that she should know better, because people, you know, learn what they can when they can. But it was just hard to empathize with some of the stuff. So I know that there is a sequel. I think it's called More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. And you best believe I will be picking that one up. I think that one's going to be a really good follow-up. And it's like I do. I want to go back to where, I want to go back into this world. And I want to see what those people are up to. And if some of the patrons of the bookshop return and we get to see them again and learn more about what their lives are up to, because you get a little sneak peek into some of that, and it's just very good. You get to really like dive into this world. It's so beautifully told and described that it's like, I sure hope a place like this exists in Tokyo or wherever they are in Japan. Would recommend. That's the base, all done. I'm gonna go in with this matte finish spray from NYX. I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I like this one, the matte finish spray, or the Milani Last All Day spray. I think they might be like same but different. Okay. Then I read Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This was a book club book for my mystery book club that I attend at the public library. And I've not been able to go to book club in months, I think since June. Definitely didn't go in August because I had to work. And then I can't remember what happened in July, but I also wasn't there. I don't remember if I went in June. It's been a minute. So I'm excited to go back. I got a bug bite. It itches really bad. And I had read Turn of the Key before. I remember reading it, and I remember, I guess I gave it 4 stars, and I remember listening to it. So I also listened to it again, and boy, did not like it nearly as much this time. I gave it 2.75 stars. And I don't know if it was the narrator. I don't know if it's because I truly remembered what happened. I couldn't quite remember how we got there. But I was like, I already know what the deal is. And I think I just found the main character to be so annoying and whiny and up to something. And I knew what she was up to. I remembered that. But it was just like, because I knew all of the guessing part of it just seemed so, like, almost misleading, but also just whiny. And yeah, it might have been the narrator, to be very honest, but it was still a good story, and I would recommend it if you haven't read it before, but I would recommend not rereading it. I don't think it's a book that anything comes from rereading it. Like, I could probably read The Days at Murasaki Bookshop again and get so much more out of it, right? Not this one. Any of her books, I don't think so, because they are mysteries, they are, you know, whodunits or whatever. So once you know, I guess you could go back and see, like, if there were better clues or whatever, but I don't think it did the book any favors by knowing ahead of time what was going to happen. And in fact, it made it harder to read, and I just disliked it. So there's that. But, and what is this color? And then the last book I read in August was We Used to Live Here by, again, oops, that's the wrong color. I did not write the name down. It's like Eric Kluwer. Marcus Kluwer. Cleaver? K-L-I-E-W-E-R. Again, I'll put the picture up. But I gave it 3 stars. It started out so good. It was scary. I remember, I keep choosing the wrong color. Doesn't really matter. It's all going to blend together, but I remember reading it in bed and having to stop reading it because I was frightened. And the premise of it was very interesting. It's kind of like a haunted house or haunted people in a house. Ooh, haunted people in a house. But the house was connected to. Part of a system, part of a labyrinth sort of thing. Secret society. I don't really know how to explain it. And it was so good. And then it kind of lost it for me, especially I do like how it ended, but I just was also, it took a turn that I didn't expect, which is usually good, but it also took away from the house, the haunted part, and it was more like about the psychological aspects of it. And again, I like how it ended, so I'm not like dogging on it. I think I was just expecting more of a spooky haunted house story. And it was partly that and partly not. But yeah, at one point there was just a real creepy part, and I was just like, I'm living for this. I love this. It's spooky season. This is so scary. But also I can't read this at night because it's too scary. This is a daytime book only. But then it turned into not being a daytime book because then it didn't get that scary anymore. So, but still would recommend it. I thought it was still a very good story. And then that was the last book I read in August. It was right before September hit. It was my first spooky read of the season because I thought it was going to take me longer to read, and it did not. Because I couldn't put it down. And then I wanted to put it down because I wasn't enjoying it. But then my current reads, I'm also reading The September House, which is also a spooky haunted house story. And I'm listening to this on audiobook. And it is very interesting so far. It's not your run-of-the-mill haunted house story. The blurb of it is what got me. It was like something, I can't remember what the blurb is, but basically like she found her dream home, or she found her dream home and nothing could make her leave even though it was haunted or something like that. And I was just like, that's fun. And it is. It kind of seems very light and humorous almost, the way that she spent 4 years in this house and she's like friends with the ghosts and has learned about the ebb and flows, especially in September, since it's the September house, the things that happen. But I feel like it's going to get a little bit darker, a little bit more emotional, because it has something to do with her husband. He's missing. He's missing, we think. Or maybe the house took him. We don't know. And so I'm really enjoying that. It's been fun. I'm going with this copper shade called Brunch. Brunch, question mark. And then the other book I'm reading, I'm actually reading Iron Flame, which was the sequel to Fourth Wing. And I do really like it, but I've just had a harder time. Like with Fourth Wing, I could not put it down. I just looked forward to reading it every night and on the weekends having long reading sessions. And I just haven't done that with this one. I don't know why. And that's okay. So I've been picking it up here and there. I'm not even close to being halfway through. I'm like maybe 100 pages in. It's like 700 pages. So I'm reading that. But also reading, see, this is nice and light, nothing crazy. I started reading yesterday Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And it is so good. It's just like The Martian in that it's very sciencey, very technical at times, and I don't understand it. I am not a science person talking about doing math in his head and timesing and roots of eights and something like that. And I'm just like, Doesn't take away from the story at all. Just adds to it. I would like to say that I even understand some of it, the way that he explains it, because he's a high school or junior high teacher. So I do think they're like, hyping that up, and that the explanation of things are quite accessible. But I'm just not a science person, so I'm just like, sure, okay. I'm not questioning it. I'm not like, how does this? This doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it does. Blanket face value. I'm not questioning any of the science. But the whole thing is just very intriguing and you're in it, like very immersive. And I was just like, this book was written for the big screen. I can already tell. And it's being produced in 2026. And Ryan Gosling is slated to be, this is according to IMDb, who knows, slated to be the lead, Ryland Grace. And it's so funny because I can see it. And now I don't know if it's because I know Ryan Gosling would be playing him, but now I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly who would play this. Kind of sounds exactly like Ryan Gosling in every role he's ever had. Ryan Gosling is turning into Ryan Reynolds, where Ryan Gosling is just Ryan Gosling in all of the parts that he plays. Like Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds with different names. So I don't know if I like or love that. I guess you know what you're going to get. So it's hard to like not meet expectations when you know what you're going to get and going into it. So there's that. But yeah, that's what I'm reading at the moment. And I almost was able to do my whole makeup and finish my recent reads. Not quite. Ooh, I forgot eyeliner. That's okay. Soft look today. This is the Lash Paradise in Black Brown. I really like using this on neutral days because it's not so stark as black, and I like it. The Lash Paradise is a great mascara all around, doesn't matter what color it is. Right, and then we'll go in with our little NYX brow pencil. I know what lippy I want to use. Just gonna keep the hair like this today. Again, it's not like a major thing that I'm doing. I don't really care. I don't have to be at peak for this thing that I'm doing at work today. Leading a train the trainer session for some sophomores. So I'm trying to be relatable. Super chill, you know. It's a Sunday. This is the NYX Slick Click Fat Oil Slick Click in the shade Going Viral. All right, that's it. That's the look. I like it. And those are the recent reads. What are you reading lately? What have you read? What were your 5-star reads? Or what was like the worst thing that you read in August? What are you looking forward to reading? What's on your TBR? And let me know. Put that in the comment, like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.